Hello and welcome back to Beckler Guitars and Repairs. Today we're checking out a weird one. So this is a 2004 Strav-II Vibracell. So these guitars were introduced in 2004 at the NAMM show. So this is one of the first year of production. And the whole thing behind these guitars is they were actually made of a single form called Vibracell. So this whole guitar is actually all just one piece. So it's a sort of resin that they make a form for. So the body, the neck, everything is just one solid piece of material, which is called Vibracell. They also have different fingerboards. So they have rosewood offerings as well as ebonol, which is a man-made ebony, and that's what's on this guitar. So this one is a Vibracell guitar with an ebonol fretboard. Then they have their own pickups, which are Switch branded, and it's very much like a S style, Strat style. It's got a 5-way pickup selector, much like a Strat. Looks like they have their own sort of trem system. And as far as the pickguard goes, it's got a kind of a unique pickguard with all the electronics underneath that, I'm assuming. So we're going to take it apart and see how everything looks. And it's pretty heavy. It's about the same as a wooden guitar, I would assume. We're going to get the specs right away. Looks like Grover style machine heads, and we do have a pickup cavity in the back here. So let's just take some specs. Alright, let's check the weight. So we're looking at 8 pounds, 3.5 ounces there. So not necessarily a light guitar. Let's have a quick look at the neck profile. Alright, so we've got just a rounded C type neck. Doesn't look like it's too chunky. Yeah, it's about middle of the road in terms of chunkiness, I would say. Let's take some measurements here. So the neck is a little narrow. It's kind of a thin little neck. Like 1.65, and at the 12th, 2.06. Quickly check the thickness. So we'll try the first fret. So 0.773, and at the 12th, 0.873. So kind of a standard thickness for the neck, and a little more narrow. Let's have a look at the overall condition of the guitar. I got this and it was pretty well like new. couple little surface scuffs here and there, just some handling marks, but no major scratches or dings. And the color on it really has stayed really vibrant. Here's the back again. Nothing major, just a couple little scuffs. There's a minor scratch there that you can sort of feel in the surface of the finish. And yeah, Grover machine heads. So this would be not even a neck through construction, just a one-piece construction, because everything is just one piece altogether. And looks like it's a poly finish. It seems like it's pretty consistent in weight all the way through. I don't think it's going to be neck divey or anything else like that. Let's have a quick look at the pickups. Alright, so back pickup, bridge pickup is reading 5.41, middle 5.36, and neck 5.36. And it has the same controls as a Strat, 2 tones and a volume. Let's take off the strings and have a look at these pickups. Oh, I just want to mention the frets are perfect on this guitar. It looks like it has barely been played. There's no fret wear at all. Alright, I've got the screws out, so let's have a look at the pickups and the cavity. See what they're using. And this should just pull right out. Indeed it does. Looks like caught up on a little bit there. Okay, so the wiring is pretty tight, but we can see what's going on. So it looks like they're just using some pretty standard ceramic style single coil pickups, and we can see the cavities here. So it looks like they've got some shielding paint in there, and it looks like this whole mold was red, and I assume they put the black burst on there afterwards, because if you look in the cavities you can see the material all the way to the base of the body is red. So that's kind of neat. It's just a big thick red piece of resin or plastic or Vibracell or whatever they're using. So let's slip that back in there without causing problems. There we go. Alright, now let's check out the back cavity. I just want to take a second to have a look at this trem here. So there's no markings on it at all, and it looks like it's similar to a Fender trem, a little different. It's got 6 screws, and then it's pretty stiff, but you can see the back, it just opens up at the back and pivots against those screws. So it's similar to a Fender, but seems a lot chunkier. It seems substantial. It's a solid piece of metal. Alright, let's check out the back cavity. Alright, here we have the cavities open in the back here. So looks like it's just mini pots with import switch. And it looks like I was wrong about the whole thing being cast in red. That must have been just paint, because looking a little deeper into the trem cavity here, we can see that there's some red here in the back, but that must be just from the spray paint in the front, and the actual material appears to be kind of yellowish in color. Interesting. And the Strat trem looks a lot just like any other Stratocaster trem cavity. It's got 3 springs. It looks like someone tightened the absolute max out of them, which is probably why our trem seems so stiff. So I'm just going to go ahead and loosen these a little bit. right, perfect. So let's get the covers back on and we will check out the setup. Okay, so loosening those springs really improved the trim a lot, so it's a lot smoother and easier to use. So that was the issue. Now we're just going to check the relief in the neck. So I'm using my slotted straight edge. I can see there's quite a bit of relief in the neck. So the action's a bit high up here, so what I'm going to do is just give the truss rod a tweak. I'm just going to tighten it a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 turns. Let's see how that makes it respond. And have another quick look at the action. So that actually closed it quite a bit. I'm going to go one more, just to see how low we can get this action. So yeah, using it at the 3rd fret, we can see how low we can get it resting along that 1st fret. And it looks like quite low. We can check the relief in the neck. And now it's just the line between the straight edge and the fretboard is just very, very slight. So we know that there's not a lot of relief in the neck. It's tightened up. So now, let's just try. So a little bit too much relief, actually. We're gonna have to back that off a bit. We're getting some buzz. So this is all just a trial and error process. So just a little bit too much when I was tightening. So let's just try that again. Alright, so that's pretty good. Might give it just even a tiny bit more, because a tiny bit of buzz up there isn't bad if you've got good action. It's kind of a sacrifice you gotta make sometimes if you want really good action. Just a slight bit of buzz, but usually not enough to come through an amp. So that's actually pretty good there. So now actually it looks like every single string on the 3rd is nice and low and resting against that 1st fret, except for the low E string. It's pretty far away. So that means that this nut probably could be filed down just a little bit to make that better. All the other strings are fine, so I'm going to use my file and just improve that a little bit. So these are my fret files, or sorry, my nut files. 46, 242. So I've marked them, so they're all, I know exactly what width they are, and I did that with a set of digital calipers. So these are professional nut files. You can buy them online. They're kind of expensive, but kind of a must if you're working on guitars. So I'm just going to file it a little bit lower, just to improve that action. And I'm going to check it as I do it, because if you go too low too fast, then you either need to replace the nut because you've gone too far, or there's a way to build it back up. You can use sort of super glue and baking powder mixture, baking soda mixture, that you can build up the nut again. Again, this doesn't need much. It's just, see, that's about perfect right there. So it wasn't very much, but it's improved quite a bit. I can probably just go like a few strokes more. Alright, let's try again. So, yes, very close. And now that I'm a little closer, I'm right here. It looks like the A could maybe use a tiny touch. So, these are 9s, so I can cross-reference that. So the A is going to be like a 32 thickness, so I just use the corresponding file for the A slot. And this is going to be different depending on which guitar or what kind of strings you have on the guitar. So 10s have different gauge thicknesses, 11s, etc. But yeah, this one barely needed anything. That's probably enough already. Let's have a look. So yeah, that has already improved immensely. Maybe like a couple more just to get it as low as we can. Okay. And let's just do the E string one more time. Okay. So perfect. Okay, so that should have helped quite a bit for that. Now we can just tune up again and so now we can play here with no buzz because the truss is correctly set with enough relief in the neck, and it's nice and comfortable to play because our action is nice and low. Alright, so the action at the 12th fret, now we're looking at, so about 1.5 on the low E and about 1 on the high E. So that's perfect, that's where we want it. And let's just try to see if there's any buzz in any of the frets. Alright, yeah, the frets are perfect. Plays nice and low. And no buzz anywhere. I really like the fingerboard. Feels really good. This is that Ebonol fingerboard, which is the man-made ebony. But it feels really slick. It's almost like a lacquered fingerboard. But yeah, it's really easy to, feels very fast and resonant. This whole guitar, they say that the sustain is supposed to be really good on these because it is just one piece, but you can really feel it, the vibrations in your chording hand. I found really resonant guitars kind of make your left hand vibrate a lot, and this definitely has that going on. Yeah, it feels really good. All right, let's put the truss rod cover back on and plug it in and see how it sounds. So we're using the Diamond Del Fuego. That's a 22-watt tube amplifier with Bugera PS1 Power Soak as an attenuator. So I've got it set pretty low so we can get nice cleans out of it. It's just on the edge of breaking up, I would say. So this is the bridge pickup. So I'm just going to do some finger picking so we can get a nice clean sound. So yeah, the bridge pickup sounds great. Nice and stratty. Alright, fourth position. So that's a nice strat sound. Middle position. Okay. Second position. And then neck position. Alright, so that's all clean tones, and I'm not running anything in terms of pedals. Everything's turned off. So this is just tube amp and guitar. So that's clean. What I'm going to do now for the overdrive is I'm going to put the Taurus servo on with the gain turned up. So that's all it is basically a boost pedal. It's not actually an overdrive or a distortion pedal, but it'll push the amp to distort with the extra signal boost. So we'll just get some natural overdrive from the amp. So I'm just going to start on the bridge. Alright, fourth position. right, and then just the neck. Yeah, okay, so I'm actually surprised at how good this guitar sounds, especially since they look like cheaper ceramic pickups, but wow, they really have a great sound. I wonder, that might have something to do with the Vibracell body, but yeah, it's sounds great. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on the Strav 2004 Vibracell 2? Wow, I was quite surprised by this guitar. It plays and sounds great. I really like the feeling of the fingerboard, which is that ebonol material. Because it's one piece of material for the guitar, it really does have great sustain, and when you play it, you can really feel it vibrating in your left hand. I was quite surprised by the pickups as well. They sound really great through a tube amp, just clean or with some distortion. I mean, usually with these kind of guitars, you swap out the pickups if you really like the guitar for something more higher end, but I wouldn't actually touch these. They sound really good. The guitar is in great condition. The frets appear to have no wear at all, and there's no major scratches or dings anywhere. Just some light finish and handling marks. You can see when you hold it up into the light. The trem works great now that I loosened off the strings, and I had to file a little bit of the nut slots for better action, but after that it played great. It also comes with the original Switch Vibracell case, which isn't just an average soft shell case. It's got decent padding, a good zipper, but it's nothing too high end. Alright, that's going to be it for today. So thank you for watching Beckler Guitars and Repairs. And please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.